Derik Queen, have yourself a night as the rookie helps the Pelicans get their first win of the season. It might not fix all the problems with the team, but I'll tell you why seeing him play like that is highly encouraging. A record of 76-6 is in play for New Orleans. It's the Wednesday episode of Locked On Pelicans. Let's go.
You are Locked On Pelicans, your daily New Orleans Pelicans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another edition of Locked On Pelicans, the daily podcast covering your favorite team, the New Orleans Pelicans and NBA, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, available wherever you get your podcasts and available on YouTube. I'm your host, Pelicans Insider, credential member of the media, Jake Madison, at NOLA Jake on Twitter, here with you on this Wednesday, and the Pelicans are victorious. It was close. It was stressful, but they beat the Charlotte Hornets 116-112, and it was rookie Derik Queen who was the hero in this one. We're going to break down the big game from him, Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy waking up, who struggled a little bit. We also got some bad Zion Williamson news too. He's out with a hamstring injury. We'll break that down in the second segment of today's show, but let's be a little bit happy for a minute. Pelicans not going winless this season. And of course, thank you for making Locked On Pelicans your first listen today and every day. We are here Monday through Friday, the #1 Pelicans podcast, covering everything you want to know about this Pelicans team. So please subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Join over 12,000 Pelicans fans on YouTube as well and become an everydayer. Means you listen Monday through Friday to the Locked On Pelicans podcast. If you're an everydayer, let me know in the comments down below. Phew. Y'all, the Pelicans won a game. That's a big relief. Look, we're going to focus on a lot of the positives here in this game. This doesn't erase all of the bad stuff around the team right now. I actually thought Willie Green did a very good job in this game. I'll break that down a little bit more. It doesn't get rid of all the negative things that we've seen and all the concerns that we largely have around this team right now. Does it relieve a little bit of pressure? Maybe, but you've got another game tonight, second night of a back-to-back that's going to be difficult. So we could easily be back there tomorrow. So all that is to say, like, let's just be happy for a moment. It might be a very long season where like joy and happiness is few and far between. A rookie for this team who has an unbelievable amount of pressure on him, someone you could argue they mortgaged their future for, though in yesterday's show I said it's not as bad as you think. Him showing out, basically winning the game for New Orleans, being the difference maker, being the hero, that is something that we should be thrilled about. By the way, today's episode of Locked On Pelicans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Look, Derik Queen, the rookie, having not played very many minutes recently, me questioning that on the show, everyone kind of questioning that overall, I think this is one of those things where you look at it and go, all right, this was a step in the right direction. They've got a lot more steps they need to take, but I'm going to take whatever we can get right now. Derik Queen was awesome in this game. So was Jose Alvarado too. But Derik Queen in 18 minutes of action, 12 points, 8 rebounds, get this number, 7 assists, 4 steals, 3 turnovers. 2 of those turnovers didn't bother me at all. 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 3 from the line. He was phenomenal. This was the guy the Pelicans needed to step up late in the game. This was a close back and forth game, particularly in the fourth quarter with the Charlotte Hornets up by 6 for the most part, and the Pelicans really struggling to make any sort of ground and kind of rein that in until Derik Queen kind of imposed his will on the game here a little bit. When you looked at this one in terms of second chance points for the Charlotte Hornets, their offense struggled in the first half. The only way they were really scoring was on second chance opportunities on offensive rebounds, and they did a very good job of that. You needed someone to come in and kind of limit those opportunities and make it so that they weren't getting all of those second chance opportunities. The Charlotte Hornets had an offensive rebounding rate of 40% in the first half, in this game. That's an insane number. The Pelicans could not get a defensive rebound at all. And then Derik Queen came in and really shifted things and started rebounding really well. This is an impressive performance from him and exactly what you want to see and what he needed to be doing during that stretch run out there. During the Fourth quarter, where Derik Queen played his best, his defensive rebound rate was 36.4%. He was grabbing over a third of all available defensive boards. That's higher than any number Jonas Valanciunas had in the past. So to see Derik Queen do this and kind of just be the guy you needed for the team, a rookie with immense pressure on him that has nothing to do with him and is through no fault of his own, kind of live up to it and be the reason the Pelicans get their first win of the season. Do you know how good that feels? That's an incredible thing to be able to see from him. He was just flat out great in this game. Look, the three turnovers he had, two of them were just on like ambitious and, an ambitious lob attempt to Trey Murphy that was kind of fun, and then he just wasn't on the same page with Jose Alvarado cutting that led to a turnover. It's not that bad. Those are kind of good turnovers. In a sense, he made, in theory, kind of the right play in both of those situations. I liked what you saw from him. You saw his touch as an offensive big man, scoring in a variety of different ways, off the dribble, on putbacks, on a coast-to-coast transition opportunity. You also saw the 7 assists. He has this playmaking in him where he can make the correct reads. And for a team that was without Zion Williamson in this game, more on that in the next segment, you needed playmaking. Creation has been a problem for New Orleans. You just got it from your power forward, your center closing this game out. If you can get that, this is why early on in the offseason, I was calling Derik Queen Zion insurance. They're not exactly the same type of player in their play style, but you want someone who can create, and Derik Queen can do that. Derik Queen led the team in assists in this game. He had 7. Jordan Poole was second with 6, and Jordan Poole did not have a good game. More on him in the third segment here. You needed someone to create for others. Jose did it too. He had 6 assists as well. But Derik Queen, your center, a big man, not a guard, leading the team in assists in this one is a highly impressive performance. And to do that after kind of losing the trust of the coaching staff or them not playing him for a period of time speaks to him and what he's doing in practice and his process. This was a phenomenal Derik Queen game. And look, in some sense, the Pelicans mortgaged their future from him. They need this. They need this. If you've watched the opening couple games of college basketball season, you've seen that these rookies or these future rookies look good. The freshman class in college looks great. And it's going to mean that if you give up a top pick to Atlanta, you're going to feel real bad about that. You feel less bad if Derik Queen looks like this. And with Zion out, I wonder if maybe you should consider starting him. I thought Looney was fine on the defensive glass, but nowhere else. Queen looked dynamic. Queen looked like a unicorn out there and looked like an Alperen Şengün kind of player. And he was making plays defensively too. He had some rookie moments. There are a couple dumb fouls. I don't care in the grand scheme of things. For the long-term health, growth, and potential of this Pelicans franchise, and I don't mean this year, I mean beyond this, Derik Queen gave you a glimpse of it. One thing that's going to be underrated from him that I saw from him in this game, he's not a great screener right now, but he had a couple of like really solid screens that created space for guys in a pick and roll situation or on a dribble handoff. I love that. Love that. Good screeners. Oh, that's the key to my heart here. So I was impressed by what we saw from him. Look, Jose Alvarado was great in this one as well. Jose Alvarado, who makes threes. The Pelicans took 38 threes. That's a great number for him, hitting 17, 45%. Jose, 4 of 7 from 3 in this one, 18 points. He was a plus 21 on the night, which led the team 6 assists. Just an impactful player, playing well over Jeremiah Fears, who I don't think played in the fourth quarter at all. And it was the right decision. I know no one wants to hear praise for head coach Willie Green right now. And again, this doesn't make me think they shouldn't fire him or shouldn't make a change there or that it's not going to be inevitable. But credit where credit's due for Willie Green. If you do something good, we will call it out here too. He had the right read of this game. He knew who to leave in. I thought Karlo Makovic played well. More on him a little bit later. And they closed with Derik Queen because they needed the rebounding from Queen, which is not something that Karlo Makovic gave this team. So to have just the right feel of the team in the moment to deliver the first win is a very, very big thing for me after all of this one. So I was very happy with what we saw from Derik Queen, from the rest of the team. Just everybody here was pretty happy with everything. Defense wasn't great, but look, let's just take a win. What's not a win for the team is Zion Williamson right now. Did not play in this game. Hamstring injury. I'll give you the latest update, what to expect. That's coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On Pelicans. Today's episode of Locked On Pelicans is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you miss the start of a game or you want to ride a hot hand like Derik Queen, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It just keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push like the Pelicans did in this one. The Pelicans were actually -3.5 to win. Vegas knew they were going to win. They won by 4. You'd taken the -3.5. You'd be very happy right now. And you'd be even happier if it was your first bet with FanDuel, because right now FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's episode of Locked On Pelicans is brought to you by Roogiet. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've heard them all before. It's just stress. I'm tired. It happens to everybody sometimes. The Pelicans aren't good this season. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Roogiet comes in. Roogiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Roogiet makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, all handled by real doctors. Visit rugiet.com/lockedonnba to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/lockedonnba. And don't forget to use our code LOCKEDONNBA so they know we sent you. Roogiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. And thank you for making Locked On Pelicans your first listen today and every day. We are here Monday through Friday, the #1 Pelicans podcast, covering everything you want to know about this Pelicans team. So please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and join over 12,000 Pelicans fans on YouTube as well and become an everydayer. And if you're an everydayer, let me know in the comments down below. It means you listen Monday through Friday to the Locked On Pelicans podcast. For your second listen, it's Locked On Saints with Ross Jackson. Trades happening at the NFL trade deadline. Ross Jackson's making sense of, were they good deals, not good deals? What should the Saints have done instead? Go check out Locked On Saints. Make Ross your second listen today. So Zion Williamson didn't play in this game because the Pelicans announced today that Zion Williamson has been diagnosed with a grade 1 left hamstring strain. He will be reevaluated in 7 to 10 days, and further updates will be appropriately provided. Hold on. Oh, I feel better. This was supposed to be different, and it just feels like the same old, same old. And I'm glad that the Pelicans kind of planned to have some Zion Williamson insurance showed up in this one, right? They got their win, but it was a tough-fought win over a good enough but not great team. They're going to need Zion if they want to turn this season around, or if you even just want to drive up his trade value. This is not it, right? Like, he came into the season in the best shape of his career, doing all of the right things, and it's a hamstring. Hamstrings are what's been a big problem for him, and that's what makes this so concerning overall. It was supposed to be different this year. And look, this just happens. I don't think Zion was doing anything wrong, anything incorrect. Just it keeps coming up, and the hamstrings, and knowing the type of injuries and the length that those have led to for Zion Williamson is highly concerning. This is now the Pelicans' first real test as an organization under Joe Dumars to make things be different. You want to change the perception? You know, we've heard the reevaluated in 2 to 4 weeks, all of that stuff, reevaluated in 2 weeks, and it always goes longer, 7 to 10 days. And we'll see. That's reevaluated in 7 to 10 days. So it doesn't necessarily mean in 7 days he's back in a week. So you're probably looking at, 10 days before he could potentially play his next game, a week and a half. That's a minimum of 4 games for New Orleans here. The schedule eases up a little bit, but it's not much. These are games that are going to be tough for the Pelicans no matter what, and it starts on the second night of a back-to-back against Dallas. Now, maybe the Pelicans can make it 2 in a row, but you're at Dallas, then you're at San Antonio after 2 days off. You're at Phoenix. You've got this 3-game road trip that's difficult. You're home versus Portland. They're a better and improved team. Then you're home versus the Lakers on November 14th. After that, though, you've got November 16th versus Golden State. That's Skeleton Night, by the way. And then November 17th at home versus OKC. He's likely not going to play on back-to-backs like that. And so you're looking at maybe even if he comes back after 4 games missed, he's going to miss one of the back-to-back games, and that's 5 games missed. This is where we are already. It's just incredibly disappointing to see. And again, maybe no one's to blame for this. Maybe Zion's not to blame. Maybe this is just a thing that happened and that's true, but it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. This was supposed to be different, and it's not. It's death, taxes, and a Zion Williamson injury. I can't tell you how many times I got texted that today. Please don't text that to me anymore. It's disappointing to see, right? And then you get into the fact that, Jordan Poole was kind of signed to be some Zion Williamson insurance too, to create some offense for you and be that guy. Creation, that's a word I've used a lot. Advantage creator is a phrase, I guess, that I've used a lot. You get it from Jeremiah Fears. You see that from him, but he's a rookie. He can only do so much. You saw it from Derik Queen in this one here. Zion is almost the ultimate advantage creator. You need Jordan Poole to do it too while scoring. And yes, 6 assists is nice, but Jordan Poole in this game with the starters was not particularly great. He has not been good for the team this season. He was 3 of 14 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, and had 4 fouls, and some of them you could just see the frustration on him, and he was letting that get to him. That can't be what happens here. He's got to be kind of the guy that they moved for. Otherwise, no, it would have been better just to keep CJ McCollum and let that contract expire rather than adding another year of Jordan Poole to it. Now, you got Saddiq Bey, who was good in this game. 3 of 5 from deep, 17 points on the night, 4 rebounds. I'll take that. But it's more about, he's a role player. It's more about the kind of the big key guys. And Jordan Poole only getting 27 minutes just because he was ineffective is something that can't happen here. We'll talk more about Trey Murphy in the next segment. That was good. But Jordan Poole's going to be a guy that's getting closer to 20 points. And to go for 11 points on 3 of 14 shooting isn't it. And it's only going to mean that it's tougher to withstand this Zion Williamson absence, for however long it might be. And these injuries for him tend to drag on longer. And that's what's such a concern about this. They can say 7 to 10 days and it doesn't seem that bad, but we'll see. That's what I mean by, this stretch was kind of a test of the Pelicans here. Do you have enough creation? Can you survive without Zion Williamson? You did for a night. You passed that test somewhat. That's good. That's important. But what about getting players back from injury quicker? Or on the regular, the timeline that it should be. The average time lost for this is usually about 11 days. So, if it'd be in 10 days, he's reevaluated. They say he can play, and then 1 day of conditioning, then he's back, something along those lines. So you have the opportunity, to kind of, this is where you can change some of the perception. This is where you can make things look different. You're going to go up against a Dallas team that you can score against. They are not good in tonight's game. Are you going to have kind of the same play from Derik Queen? Are you going to have the same play from Trey Murphy? Are you going to have the same play from some of these guys? Or are they going to kind of, revert back to pumpkins in a sense or something along those lines? This is like the true test. Are things an absolute raging dumpster fire like they've seen? Or are things just not great or just bad? This is where we're going to know with Zion Williamson down. It's going to test the medical staff, the player performance, and the care team. It's going to test this franchise as well. It doesn't feel good. This win was nice, and walking out of the Smoothie King Center, by the way, great crowd there for the situation in, like a Tuesday. I was very pleased with it. I thought the fans were going to boo the team at tip-off. They didn't. They were there. They wanted this win. So this is your test. This is your true test of how bad is stuff. We're going to find out over the next couple of games. The win is nice, but it shouldn't mask the ultimate problems that we've seen. Poole not being good is a big part of that as well. Coming up next, let's look at Trey Murphy, Karlo Makovic, and a couple others that I thought played well in this game. That's coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On Pelicans. Today's episode of Locked On Pelicans brought to you by Gusto. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. So whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. Unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. And Gusto's automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits can save you hours every week. And knowing you can reach certified HR experts anytime gives you real peace of mind. So try Gusto at gusto.com, gusto.com/lockedonnba, and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months free. 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/lockedonnba. One more time, that is gusto.com/lockedonnba. And thank you for making Locked On Pelicans your first listen today and every day. We are here Monday through Friday, the #1 Pelicans podcast, covering everything you want to know about this Pelicans team. So please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and join over 11,000 Pelicans fans on YouTube. Sorry, 12. I'm still not getting used to that. 12,000 Pelicans fans on YouTube as well, and become an everydayer. It means you listen Monday through Friday. It's also okay if you're not an everydayer. I just appreciate you making Locked On Pelicans part of your day, however it might be. Shout out to everyone who said hi to me at the game. There were a lot of people that came up to me. I enjoy saying hi. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Look, I'm covering a 1-6 team. I'm not doing this for me. Doing it for you. So I appreciate it. It makes it worth it. Even in those like really rough stretches, seeing kind of the community around this team really motivates me, really keeps me going. So please say hi if you see me. For your second listen, by the way, it's Locked On NBA Game Night. I'm on there. We're recapping all 6 games across the association. We'll get a little bit of Zion and Pelicans talk and Derik Queen talk in there as well as all the other games that you maybe didn't watch. The late game is like just getting started when I'm recording this. I'm staying up so you don't have to. Make Locked On NBA Game Night your second listen today. So as we start to wrap up the show, Trey Murphy, welcome to the season, it feels like. 21 points on 7 of 16 shooting. He made 5 threes in this game, 50%, 5 of 10. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was good. They need this version of Trey Murphy. This is a closer to all-star level version of Trey Murphy. They need a little bit more than this, but I'll take this as a first step. He looked just truthfully more engaged, I think, than he had seen in a little while, which is good. Look, losing is a disease. It's an infection that kind of just kills you, makes things fester, makes it unfun. And you see that in losing teams out there on the court. And so to start off the season as they did, just talking to people, talking to players, has taken a toll on some of these guys. You can see it in their play that when people are like, they've quit on Willie Green, maybe, but they've also like just losing sucks. NBA players don't like it. So when they were able to build a big lead, even though it got kind of whittled away at the end of the second quarter, you could see the energy around this team change. When they started making shots, and they shot very well in the first half of this game, you could see the energy shift. And Trey Murphy just simply seeing his shots go in clearly does something to him, right? There's something to be said for that kind of momentum and everything. So you want that from him. You need that from him. And I'm glad he got going in this game, and hopefully it can be a springboard because they're going to need him without Zion Williamson. You're not going to be able to rely on Derik Queen like this every single night, particularly if Jordan Poole is also not playing well. Against better teams, it's going to be tough to win with a second half that the Pelicans had or the defense that the Pelicans had. So Trey waking up, playing better, being a little just bit more engaged and happier, I think it was just really nice to see and needed for this team. Karlo Makovic also gave, I thought, very, very good minutes in this one. Just as an energy big off the bench, that was great. Crashing the offensive glass too. He had 6 rebounds. 4 of them were offensive. Finished with 13 points on 6 of 7 shooting, plus 13 on the night. He was good. They needed those minutes. The big man rotation is not great. Kevon Looney in 15 minutes was a minus 22 and basically did kind of like nothing. You need Karlo to kind of give you some of that like energy, change of pace off the bench. I'm glad he did that. I'm glad the Pelicans closed with Queen. That was clearly the right decision. Got him the win. They might have been able to do that with Karlo too, but Karlo should see an increase of minutes just to really see what you have in him and give him that kind of fair run and fair shake when it comes to everything. So hopefully that'll be the case going forward. Jordan Hawkins had 17 minutes of cardio out there, 1 of 4 from the field, 2 points, 1 rebound. You know, you've got to wonder if maybe you want to run with Micah Peavy there, I think, in those minutes just to see what he can give you and try some of it out. You know, there were a +1 in Hawkins minutes. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad, I guess, in terms of the team, but you can probably get some better minutes there. You know, when it's going to be a minute here, when you get someone like DeJounte Murray back, you would imagine that Hawkins is going to kind of be on the outs of the rotation here. You know, especially with Jeremiah Fears clearly having a role, even if he wasn't the most effective in this game, 4 of 10 from the field. You could see the length of the Charlotte Hornets bothering him a little bit on his drives to the basket too. 3 rebounds, no assists here for everything. But overall, he's a rookie. He still shows what you want to see from him, and he can hoop, and he, as the Pelicans said on Twitter, and had some pretty nice plays out there on the court too. But Willie Green did a good job of just riding the hot hand and just knowing he had the pulse of the team in this one and knew who to play. Rode with Jose Alvarado. Jose had a fantastic performance, as we mentioned. Great to see. Love to see that he went with Derik Queen. It was a well-coached game from him, truthfully. Doesn't change anything. Doesn't mean he shouldn't be fired, but credit where credit's due with all of that. We'll see what happens tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. But they got to win. They got to win. And oh, does that feel better? And I'm happy that we at least got that. So I appreciate y'all so much for listening. Enjoy the win. We'll see what the Pelicans do tonight. We'll be here covering it tomorrow, recapping the second game of a back-to-back here on the Locked On Pelicans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, I'm your host, Jake Madison, at NOLA Jake on Twitter. This is the Locked On Pelicans podcast. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Watch us on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. See y'all tomorrow.